Welcome to Dine Dish, the podcast where hospitality meets real talk. I'm your host, Michele DiMeo, Restaurant Diva, serving up the stories, strategies, and behind the scenes truths of the restaurant business. We are back for another episode of Dine and Dish, and I am so excited for today's show. Um, I wanted to do an Oscar theme in honor of the big weekend, and who better else to have on the show but the queen of PR, media, red carpets, or should I say the diva of red carpets and lights and hospitality and you name it. But Christine Curran is with me today, and I can't wait to jump right into the show. Christine, are you here?
I'm here. Thanks for having
Yay! I'm
me.
so excited to have you on the show. This is I can't even believe how our worlds have connected. And my God, it's been what, 9 years?
A long time, yes.
I know. So, should we tell everybody how we met?
Yeah, you tell the story.
So, Christine had just launched her new Dining Divas. And I think what episode was, I don't even remember what episode I was. Do you?
Like season 2, I believe.
Was it season 2? And, I was getting ready to launch all my Restaurant Diva stuff, and she was the Dining Diva Empire herself, and we're driving to a breakfast, an event at one of the hotels in Fort Lauderdale when we had opened our restaurant, and at the time, I was protecting the brand, and, of course, my attorney calls while we're driving, and Christine and I are in the car, and he's like, "Well, Michele, there's only, one company out there, one brand out there that has anything to do with the Diva brand, and I think her name is Christine Curran." And we looked at each other, and we were like, I looked at Andrew, I called Andrew, and I said, "Andrew, you're never gonna believe who's sitting next to me, but Christine Curran herself."
Yeah, it was so funny.
Totally surreal, right? Like, the only brand out there that would have any opposition. I mean, even though we do such different things, but of course, the name Diva, and you're sitting next to me and we're driving to an event in the car. I mean, what
I
timing?
know. What a Sunday, huh?
I
Sunday
know.
Sunday.
Well, before we get started, we have such a big show and so many things to talk about, but why don't you let the listeners know who you are? And I mean, you're doing so many amazing things, and you've gone from Dining Diva TV to this whole dining empire and streaming. And so, do you want to kind of just lead in and give us a quick introduction about you and your brand?
Sure, absolutely. So I've been in entertainment for 20 years now, and model, actress, TV host, had a big entertainment company where I booked models for many, many years, had the number one shot girl company in the United States. And through all of those things, throwing massive ccelebrity events and beauty pageants and I've tried everything in the entertainment industry. I've choreographed for Two Live Crew even.
Uh,
Um, I even boxed in celebrity boxing. But, I really love telling people stories, and I thought at the time The Housewives was doing really well, and I thought it was kind of a ridiculous show, and I thought I could do it better, so I wanted to do the opposite of that, and I created Dining Divas, where we've redefined the word diva to driven, inspiring, visionary, authentic sisterhood, and, it's just been a beautiful roller coaster ride of adventures and traveling and getting to tell people stories along our journey on both Dining Divas and Destination Divas. And from there, going through the process of being on different networks and all the different red tape and realizing that there really wasn't a good platform anymore. Food Network's very political, Travel Channel was showing ghost stories. I'm like, we really need a new network. And so I launched Dining Empire, where it's a more modern, diverse, hip food, travel, lifestyle network. And we give more rights back to the creators and tell more stories around food because food brings people together. And it's the only thing that AI can't take away is the human experience of food and travel.
yeah. It's so funny you bring up AI. I've done this show now for almost a year, and every episode, AI comes up in some way, shape, or form, but
Yeah.
I don't even wanna talk AI. This show is about people and
Yeah.
culture and, food, and I agree with you. What better way to do business over wine, sitting down at a table, having food, so I agree. I mean, food is the heart of everything, and, we say it's not just about food, it's about the experience, but I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we're such big foodies. I mean, we're in the restaurant business, obviously, and it's our passion. But everything you're doing, our kind of worlds just align so well. So, you know, my creative side and the passion, and we're getting ready to do our show, and then you take that with what you're doing, and building this whole restaurant PR and dining. And I mean, I love it. I think it's amazing, and I love the fact that there's no drama. It's not fighting and drinking and breaking women down, but it's actually empowering them and lifting them up and creating this whole powerhouse diva network. So I love it, and it's so inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm so excited that we got to meet. And I agree. The way that our worlds collided was very synergistic, and we're still going. So many more things to do together.
I know, I know. I'm so excited. So before we jump into all these different Hollywood hospitality stars, all this amazing stuff you've done on the red carpet, and we talk about building like a celebrity, why don't you just introduce how you feel? So, because you're such a social media powerhouse. I mean, you're always posting and your stories and your videos. And I mean, hey, I'm getting better, Christine. I'm trying to get my videos out there. I'm learning. But why don't you kind of talk a little bit about how social media and the exposure just changes the whole trajectory for any restaurant or any brand?
Nowadays you have to be on social. I think connecting with people in real time is a very powerful play, for your show, for your brand, for your product or your service, whatever it is. So I think people like to do business with people. And so when you can be authentic and show your true self on social media, it's only gonna be good for the outcome you desire.
Yeah. Nowadays, this whole social media piece is huge. And, when does a business know, or a restaurateur know when they're actual media ready? It's like, do you just jump on and start creating social media? Do you do posts? I mean, what's your suggestion of how to even get started in that? I mean, because I mean, I know I'm not the strongest with videos and pictures, but I'm getting better. I'm making sure everywhere I go, I take videos and I put stories together. But how does a restaurateur really know how to jump in and kind of launch that whole social media piece?
I mean, you've got to do something that's in a niche that is fun for you. I feel like every restaurant that does well on social media, they have like their own little style that they're doing right on social. So whether they've got foodies coming in that are doing fun videos for them, or if they have their own in-house social media that's like creating a certain stylistic of reels, like if it's a very fancy place, or if it's a very fun happening place, and really speaking to the audience on what the energy is when they come to your venue. I think that says a lot, because when I'm looking at social media and I'm like, okay, where do I want to go that I haven't been yet? I can tell by the vibe of their social media whether or not it's a vibe I want to go to. So I think that's important. Like finding a niche and how you do your content is key one. And then people they're expecting it, they're looking for it, they're excited to see the next one.
Yeah. That jumps right into our next topic, branding like a star. Let's talk Hollywood and the whole business of branding. Just like you said, people are looking for a vibe. When you're in a new, whether you fly to Florida or you fly to LA or you're traveling, what's the first thing you do when you look for where you want to eat or where you want to go out, or you go onto TikTok or you go onto social media or you Google reviews. So branding and the vibe and how you want that message out there to the public is so important. So, why don't you share? Because you've filmed in so many restaurants. I mean, between all the different episodes of Dining Divas, and I mean, we've done a few in New York, and now with Destination Divas, you've been all over the world. Why don't you share a quick story about, maybe something that wasn't a big popular restaurant or a popular place to go, and then now they're on your show, and you've kind of transformed that whole restaurant's growth or reputation, if you have a quick story to share.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we have shot at so many restaurants. One of them that we actually have shot in multiple times is right here in Fort Lauderdale, Casa Calabria. And what I love about working with Frank, I've known him a long time, but like, being able to show his restaurants in a different light every episode, I think has been great, because we've shown his tiki bar in one and we've shown his Casa Calabria in another. And, getting to just kind of bring more awareness to his family legacy, because I feel like TV is all about legacy, right? Like you're the
Mhm.
people that are really gonna make the TV resonate with the viewer is the ones that have really great stories, really longevity plays, like yourself, Michelle. Like we did your show, and you guys have built some really incredible brands, and so those are the kind of people that you really want to put on TV because they've got something of meat and potatoes, I like to call it, to share with the audience.
Yeah.
And Frank has that. He's got longevity. He has so many different concepts, and he's been around the block in the restaurant business. So I love working with him, and we've definitely got to show some fun different clips at his locations that people don't that didn't know about Casa Calabria have gone there. They've messaged me on social media like, "Oh my gosh, I saw that on your newest episode, and I went and checked it out. It was amazing. What a view. Oh my gosh." Like, so it feels good when you get those messages on social media that your content that's on different platforms is actually resonating with the audience, that they go to social media to let you know that they watched it, you know?
Yeah. Well, we all know Frank really well. It's funny you mentioned about, the whole celebrity boxing where you actually box. I was one of the whatever it was, what do you call them? Ring girls, where you go and introduce it. So when you were boxing that year, you went up against Natalie, remember?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
Natalie
that
did
was
the whole thing.
how long ago was that? 8 years
Oh,
ago? But we
yeah.
actually had the event at Frank's at the hotel where his restaurant is.
Yeah. Yep. It was so fun. That was such a
It
fun.
was fun. Oh my god, those were the days. And now fast forward, our good friend Damon, he's doing his show and now I'm doing my show. So we've all kind of transformed into the whole media world from restaurateur to reality show and celebrity boxer to reality show. So it's so funny how you watch the whole transformation from restaurant growth to the whole branding piece and becoming a reality star.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, like I said, legacy is where it's at. You know, you can build something, but then what do you leave behind? And I think media is a power play for anybody who's already built something extraordinary.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into, I've had other shows and I've had um decorators, like interior designers, and I've had franchise guests. And I mean, I've had so many amazing guests over the last year. And one of the main pieces I've heard over and over and over again is authenticity. So, we're talking about Hollywood and we're talking about, the whole PR side. How do you think the balance of that plays in? Because I mean, obviously, you want the reality TV side of it, but how do you balance staying true to the legacy or authenticity, but still have that like Hollywood shine? So it's, um, the viewers want to see it and guests want to watch it, whether it's on TV or social media or wherever.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously it's a condensed version of your life, right? You're not like really having cameras follow you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, you want to showcase who you are authentically, but you also want them to see what's a typical day look like in your life, and it's in a condensed version. So, it's a fine line because you don't want to fake it and you don't want to be, somebody that you're not, but you also want to make sure that the viewer feels, who you truly are. So, I think like the way you did it, Michelle, was perfect. I mean, like we set up some great shoots that are really what you guys do. Like we followed you around to your real meetings, we followed you around to your real life, your real stores, your real house when you're moving and packing. And I think a lot of times when you're authentic and the cameras are on, you forget the cameras are there, and so you tend to just be yourself anyway. And people know when you're being fake. They can tell, and those shows don't resonate with people. So I
Yeah.
just think, you gotta put your best foot forward when you're on TV and just hope that people like what they see.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when we talked about doing the show, you and I, creating this whole DeMeo dynasty and bringing our story to TV, I agree with you, when we say it's like semi-scripted, because obviously we're planning things out, right? You have to have meetings and you have to have some type of schedule or it would be a hot mess. But you never know. I said to everybody when we started filming, I'm like, you never know what Chnar's gonna say. I'm warning you. But it actually, right? Like you never know what he's gonna do. Cause I mean, he's kind of like the swing in the show because it's like, okay, is he going to like it? Is he not going to like it? Is he going to play along? Whatever. But it worked out great. And it actually, he was funny. Like it's funny. My daughter said to me, "Mom, we knew you would do great because you have a big personality. You could talk to everybody, but we were all concerned about Chinaro." But she's like, "He's funny. He was the star." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Alana."
Well, I think you guys have a great dynamic.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
whole family dynamic is really good.
Yeah. So let's kind of jump right into red carpet moments, because obviously everybody with the Oscars love that whole red carpet before the Oscars and what people are wearing and what's important and that whole spotlight thing. And you've done so many red carpet interviews and you've met so many big people. Um, how can restaurants, and I know you're not a restaurateur, but how can restaurants create that same red carpet moment and kind of attract the press and attract that social buzz? And then if you want to sneak a few stories in of some fun people that you've met, that would be great too.
Yeah, I mean, I think like even what you did, Michelle, when we were down here having like the foodie influencer dinners and stuff. I think doing stuff like that and maybe theming it out and inviting the public, as well. And I think those kind of things, when you do something consistently, it gets traction. So whether it's once a month or with a slightly different theme or a slightly different, or a different group of people, or once a quarter, just doing something that's memorable that once you do it once, people will start talking about it. And they're like, oh my God, they're going to do it again. I got to get on the waiting list. Those are the kind of things that I feel like, for instance, my boyfriend's got a burger shop and they did this big party where they had a DJ and they had these like Fortnite kids come out and like that's really in alignment with burgers, right? Smash burgers. And so you just kind of look at those kind of things and the energy that it brings to the restaurant, to the people and the giveaways, giving away so many free burgers. And like if you do stuff like that once a quarter, once a month, people will come back looking for it. And I think it brings more community to your venue.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I mean, the more outreach you can do, we say all the time with our business, it's all about community. So not only are you doing events, but it's also partnering with the community and supporting whatever it is. I mean, so this way you get this community support, but then you get out there and you do events. You get whatever it is, grand opening, or you DJs, or you get the news out. And so there's so many ways to attract press and social buzz. But what about awards? I mean, there's accolades and awards and recognition and different features like that you can get involved in from a national perspective. I know you've been nominated a few times for the Taste. You've won awards. How do you get nominated, or how do you get involved in that? And from a local level, I mean, for somebody that's on the East Coast, I mean, what should they look at? Is it something worth doing, or is it something that you have to be nominated for? So if you can talk a little bit about that and maybe mention a few of the awards you've won, that would be amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at one of my awards right now, the Glitz and Girl Power Women in Power Award. That was one that I was really proud of winning because I've been with that organization for 8 years, and a lot of big entertainment celebrities, artists, and entrepreneurs have been on their stages. So that was a really awesome award to get. But I think just like with that one, I was with them since they started. I always went out and supported their events, got to know everybody. And so I brought awareness to myself. And then as they followed me for many, many years and saw my growth, then one day I got nominated. So I think a lot of times, these organizations, just making yourself, aware or make yourself visible to them so they're aware of you is a power play. And going to the events and networking and rubbing elbows is always important. As far as restaurants, I mean, I know that here locally, our local newspapers and different media outlets do different like things quarterly and monthly about like the hottest restaurant to eat or newest the top 10 restaurants of the year. What there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. I think reaching out to your local papers and asking, do you guys have anything that restaurants can apply for or get nominated for or get voted for by the people that dine, I think is always important. And then just staying up with it. Like the taste awards, we won quite a few taste awards over the years, but I reached out to them. So how do you get nominated? How do you do the, like find out the different ways to be viewed by the voters. So I think that's really it. You just have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. Do you have you seen any brands make mistakes when it comes to getting involved in media attention or social media? I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, but what mistakes do you typically see in brands that are trying to get too much media attention? I mean, you don't obviously, I mean, I don't want to bash the Housewives because everybody loves the show and I mean it's a huge successful franchise, but I mean, you had mentioned you didn't want to be that side of the reality world. So, what mistakes can you talk about that you see brands making when they're trying to launch their, their whole message?
Huh. I think blocking off like opportunities. I think I see a lot of times people will turn their cheek towards maybe like a new opportunity or a new group of people, and sometimes that's not always the best thing. Like when you're trying to be too niche and you're not open to change, I see that's where a lot of times you got to think everything's always evolving, right? And so you have a new generation of people that are growing up and that might be interested in your venue or your type of food, and you're not used to that age group, whatever, but you got to find a way to kind of like out with the old and with the new as the times are changing. I think that's important. It's like, for instance, when all this social media stuff really popped off, right? A lot of restaurants, it took them a long time to get with the whole social media influencer thing, right? Like have a social media person come in, do a video their way, their style so they can get more, viewers to you. And so those people that were years behind and finally are now catching up, they lost some opportunities there. There was a lot of lost opportunity. Same thing with Dining Divas. Like when we were doing TV shows, even 8, 7, 6 years ago, we got told no a lot because people weren't used to that yet. It wasn't like a normal thing to have people come in and do shows that are their way. It's not they didn't pay for that marketing. They don't get to tell you what shots to do. But
Yeah.
I think that's the opportunities that get lost sometimes because that opens up to new audiences and new ways of viewing your restaurant and your place too.
Yeah. So that brings up another really interesting topic because you talked about doing the Dining Divas 7, 8 years before it was kind of popular within the restaurants. So how can smaller restaurants, that are emerging, maybe only have 1 or 2 with a limited budget, still make that big media impact? Because obviously, you're looking for, sponsors, you're looking for dollars to launch that, and maybe you get big brands like liquor brands or food brands, but what happens if those smaller restaurants are working on a limited budget? How can they still make that same impact as some of these larger restaurants that are able to participate in your show or other reality type TV opportunities?
Well, listen, if they're savvy enough, like you, Michelle, then they'll go to their distributors and say, listen, I really want to do this show and I buy a lot of this. So can you get me XYZ? So I think being creative on how you can partner and just people like to do business with people. So, the a lot of times if people can cut you breaks or support you or help you, it's going to be because you've been really nice to them, really generous, really help. Hey, can we do this? Can I help you with a giveaway? How can we make this work? And brainstorming with people because I'm always open for creative collaboration.
Yeah. I mean, it's even like when I launched my podcast, I had a partner originally and obviously, everybody has to be aligned on their vision and their thoughts of how to launch the show. And one of the pieces that I really was I guess focused on was bringing amazing guests onto the show that can balance topics. So just like yourself, I wanted to do an Oscar theme for, this whole weekend with the Oscars coming and reaching out to somebody that might not be traditionally a restaurateur, but has worked side by side and actually hands on in so many different restaurants and to be able to offer your expertise from a different perspective. Just like
Yeah.
my background, when I joined Gennaro in the restaurant world, my God, it's been 20 years already. I came from accounting and weight loss and business and operations, and now I'm a restaurateur. And our like you said, it works because we have such different perspectives. So being able to bring on different perspectives can make such a huge impact. So if you are a smaller restaurant or a smaller operator and you have access to much bigger opportunities. Like I worked in the accounting, I'm digressing a little bit, but I worked in the accounting world for a while. And when I worked in that world, one of the messages that we said is you might not know the person you want to meet or the person that has the opportunity for you, but that person that you know might know that person that you need.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
the A might not be the A that you need, but that B, D, C person knows the A that can get you where you need to be. So I agree with you 100%. Creativity and passion and drive, and don't be afraid to get those no's, because the no's will eventually become yeses. I mean, how many times have you heard no?
Yeah.
I mean, millions of
You
times. Me
you
too,
gotta
right?
hear a no's 100 times to get one yes, right?
Yeah, and you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna say, "Oh, okay." No, you're gonna find a way to turn that no into a yes and make it, energizing and exciting to get that person on board to want to do what you do. I mean, look, I never thought I would make a reality show, but you made it that I wanted to do it. And, we partnered with some great people with big names, and now you have your own streaming platform. And, it's the ability to be able to take your dream and your vision and create it in a way that you might have a limited budget, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. So, it's getting creative. So I agree with you 100% there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So I know you've worked with huge chefs and great supporting teams. So let's kind of turn this whole best supporting team award into who was the best chef you worked with or the best restaurant you worked with, or if you could talk about your best episode that you've had. And I know, don't say Tuscan Prime because you're biased, but and if you had to give an Oscar, what would be some of the shows or the people you've worked with that you would give your Oscar to?
Oh, wow, girl, that's so many people I've worked with, I can't even remember everybody. I I mean, best shows, okay, well, when you come to food, Colombia was top notch. I mean, shooting in Medellin, the food is so fresh and it's so different and so, I mean, it's just the flavors are amazing there. I mean, I can't think of a bad restaurant in Medellin. So that was a foodie experience that was really delightful. I had a great foodie experience also in oh, well, we did the New York episode. We had some great food there.
We did, we
Yeah,
did.
some great food there.
Well, you
Utah.
can't go wrong in New York. I mean, what do they
Well,
say? You can
wait,
eat.
I beg to differ, girl, because I've been to New York City a couple times where I've had some horrible food, and New York is hit or miss unless you know what you're doing. Like you really have to know what you're doing. But when you know what you're doing, you go to the right places. It's fantastic.
Well, you know what? They
Fantastic.
say that you could eat every single day out at a different restaurant and probably never get through all the restaurants in New York.
Well, that I believe absolutely.
There's so many restaurants, it's crazy. I mean, I can't wait till we relocate, our headquarters over to New Jersey and New York. I mean, one of the things, I have a very good friend, and she's always says to me, "Oh my god, I've been to the most amazing restaurants. I can't wait for you to move here so we can go." And I'm like, "I can't wait to move so I can go." I'm finally getting out of Maryland. It's like, that energy of the big city and growing our restaurant company and our group, into an
Yeah.
area where bigger and better and more audience and more people. So I'm super excited about that. But what else? So you said best restaurant. What about you've been to so many amazing countries. So what would you give the Oscar for the best for Destination Diva?
Um. Oh. Well, I've done a lot of islands. So, we've done St. Lucia, which was incredible.
That's where I got married.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah,
Shannara and I got married there on the beach. That's yeah, we flew away just the 2 of us. So I 100% agree with you. It is amazing with the Piton Mountains, and there's so many really cool resorts that are right inside the mountains. So I love St. Lucia.
yeah, that was special. And then Exumas was amazing because we got to see Exumas from the best views.
Mhm.
Mm. And then we did Tobago last year. That is actually premiering at the premiere, and that was a very interesting episode. You're gonna see me get detained and deported. It was wild.
Oh my,
Uh,
I heard about that. That's not fun.
no,
But hey,
but
you
the
turned it
people.
around. You got back there and you still filmed.
I know, I did, and the food was incredible. I feel like the islands are always so special because the people are special and they put a lot of love into their food. So, always a great experience on the islands when it comes to food. Um, what else did we
All right, you
do?
gotta talk about a rising star chef. Anybody you've worked with that you can mention is somebody that kind of, flies under the radar, but has amazing food and great atmosphere and maybe a up and coming star to watch for?
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you've done your what, bikini chef show?
Yeah, I mean, I we worked with this woman, Eat with Kiwi, and she was an incredible chef. Oh my gosh, she was in Tennessee, in Nashville. She was an incredible chef. I mean, I've worked with so many chefs, and they're just, I love the diversity of people's, their cooking style.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
pick one.
I was gonna say between Destination Divas, Dining Divas, your all the shows that you're filming in between, you're living on a plane, a train, an automobile. I mean, I see your videos at 5 a.m. in the morning, you're like off again to another city with the plane going across the the social media. So I can't even imagine all the restaurants you've eaten in and so really quickly, are you a movie goer? Are you into the whole Oscar thing?
As much as I have time for
I
it.
know that's how I am. People ask me all the time, like, "Do you actually watch TV?" And I'm like, reality TV." Nowadays, I think everybody all they do is stream. You don't even watch unless you go to the movies. Does anybody ever go to the movies anymore?
Once in a while, because my mom likes to go, but that's it.
Yeah, I think COVID really changed how people watch movies. You know,
Yeah.
back in the day, I remember years ago, and I mean, I'm aging myself and I'm older than you, but years and years ago, it was like such a fun date night and such a fun experience to go out to the movie. Like when a movie launched, it was like, oh, we got to go to the red carpet. It's a new movie. And how's it going to do in the box office? And it was like such a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and it just changed everybody's thoughts about, okay, do we go to the movies anymore? And I mean, I go sometimes now because obviously Vivi, my 6-year old, loves to see the animated kids movies and it's a big thing for her. But otherwise, I don't know if I would ever go to the movies again because now they've made it so convenient and everybody talks about the trends and what's new and it's that whole thing of convenience, right? So you can do it at home, you can stream it. Same thing with food. You can carry it out, you can third party DoorDash it or Uber Eats it or however. Like the world is all about what's easy and convenient. And I think it's happening with movies too because people like to watch now in their home in front of the TV with a great, meal from their favorite restaurant.
Absolutely, yeah, the comfort of your own home, and with the TVs nowadays, they're literally movie quality anyway. So,
Yeah.
like movie theater quality.
I
Yeah.
know, right? So talk a little bit about how you got into the whole streaming platform and what really drove you and energized you to create that whole streaming piece of your business because now you have your own app, your own streaming platform. So can you talk a little bit about that and what kind of pushed you that route, from being a producer, director, creator of reality TV to now being a streaming platform where you can actually host your own shows?
Yeah, I saw a lot of issues in the cable networks, after working with CW, WeTV, Travel Channel, and I just realized they're still stuck in the dinosaur era, and I just saw an opportunity too to make more money with the streaming platforms and be able to have more control over our creative IP. And so that's really why we went that direction. Not to mention, on demand is where it's at, right? So
Yeah.
being able to watch on your own time is great.
Yeah. So I say this every week, every show. We get to the end, and I'm like, oh my God, where'd the time go? How did 35 minutes or 40 minutes fly by? And we're not even close to touching base on everything or talking about all the different points that I wanted to talk to you about. But let's do some quick lightning round restaurant Oscars, and I got to see it from Christine's perspective. All right. So you go to a restaurant. Which role in the restaurant do you feel deserves an Oscar every night? What's the best supporting team member?
In a restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well,
Who's your favorite role in the restaurant?
I think the host, when the way you first arrive is always important, right? That first impression.
1,000%. That would be mine too. They make the first impression and, they either make it or break it and they set the whole vibe of the night, right? If they're
Yeah.
friendly and they're warm and they're nice and they're exciting, it just starts the whole dining experience off on the right foot. So, 1000% for me, it's the front of the door, front of the house. All right.
Yes.
A rising star, your favorite emerging trend right now in hospitality because you've seen it all.
Emerging trend. Um, I don't know. What, can I have options? So I get ABC choice?
Okay, this is not high school. You can't have multiple choice. So there's so many trends right now in hospitality, from let's talk full service versus fast casual. There's you mentioned AI. Um,
Oh, okay. Okay. No,
going into
I
a
get the
restaurant and placing your order at a kiosk versus talking to a person face to face. That's a huge trend. Dining in versus third party delivery and carry out. There's so many different trends right now in 2026 that what's your favorite? I mean, do you still like the old fashioned dining out, or are you one to carry out and dine in, or what's your favorite,
yeah.
view on hospitality?
I love the old school dining out at a nice restaurant, but I am really enjoying the fast casual because I haven't eaten fast food in years, and when you're in a rush and you just need but you want something good quality, it's become such an easy thing, and so I really do enjoy the fast casual.
Yeah. What about food? If you had to give the best plated dish, what's your favorite dish?
Girl, that's so difficult.
I
um
don't know. We had some good sushi in New York.
Oh my gosh, I know. I mean, I do eat a lot of sushi. I mean, I live in South Florida and there's so much good sushi. Sushi's so fun because you can do so many crazy, creative, cool things with it.
Yeah, you're never gonna believe it, but Vivi's favorite food. Okay, here we go. My 6-year-old surf and turf sushi.
I could
Sh
believe it. I
she
believe
goes
it.
into restaurants and she'll say, "Do you have surf and turf sushi?" And Janara looks at me and you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. Here's my digress again.
Ugh.
When my kids were younger, when my 2 older kids were like 6, 7, and Janara and I, my God, I think Maury was 4 when we started dating. We would go to the restaurants and they would order filet mignon and lobster tail, and he would look at me and he would say, don't your kids know what a kid's menu is? What happened to like chicken tenders and cheese pizza and french fries? And now it's funny, full circle, fast forward 20 years and Vivi's 6. And we go to restaurants and she'll say, "Do you have surf and turf sushi?" And I looked at him the other day and I was like, "Mhm. Does your child have eat anything off the kids menu? What about chicken tenders and cheese pizza?" Because nowadays they have access to so many higher end fun foods. Who the heck wants to eat a chicken tender or pizza?
Uh, True. It's true. I mean, the craft foods are amazing. The dishes that they're making nowadays are wild,
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I got to tell you, you said sushi. I'm not a big fish person, but I will tell you, I love a really good steak. And, like I don't eat a lot of it, but when we go out, Janara and I always look for the best steakhouse.
Yeah, I know. Steak is great.
Yeah. All right. If there's any chef out there and you could collaborate with them and give a celebrity chef co star Oscar, who would it be?
I mean, I've always wanted to just work with Rachel Ray just because she's just so fun and vibrant. And I don't know, she just had, I feel like we would be like BFFs in the kitchen.
That's funny because she's not technically a celebrity chef. She's more, you know what? That's Christine. That's that PR TV side of you. Because she's really such a big TV personality. She has been for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like she would be a fun person to cook with
She's
in the
got a
kitchen.
great personality.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about I know you've done a lot of PR that's hit it big and some that's not. I mean, because obviously every story has success and failures. I mean, I can tell you a million of them. I mean,
Yeah.
from my side at least. If we had to do like a plot twist, what would you say has been your biggest PR challenge through the years that you've kind of started, failed, and then now you've kinda turned it around and you're reinventing that kinda piece.
I mean, the thing is that PR is a forever evolving and changing. So when you think you finally got it figured out, it's already on to the next thing. So, from I think social media was always a difficult one. Like you didn't realize how powerful social media was going to be, and if I had realized it because we had MySpace, okay? Like when I was in college, it was MySpace. That was it. Facebook started like I think after I got out of college. So we didn't realize the power of what that was going to be, and I wish I knew because that was
I
the
know,
game
right? Can you imagine
changer.
if
That
we
was the
jumped
game
on
changer.
that 10
Yeah.
years before? We'd be billionaires, Christine, and we wouldn't be doing a
Um,
podcast.
dude,
We'd
Instagram.
own the podcast.
I remember when Instagram started, I made an Instagram and I just barely posted because I was like, whatever. Same thing with TikTok. I'm like, whatever. I made a TikTok, but I barely used it. And both of them, I just slept on it. And that was my biggest failure because if you're consistent with them, or at least before the algorithm shifted, you would have blown up. Everybody who consistently posted with a similar stylistic look on their page for like 3 months straight, all of them blew up. Every one of my friends, every one of them. And I'm like, "Fuck, why did I do that?"
Yeah, I know, I know. Well, that
Oh.
brings up the last restaurant Oscar I'm going to ask you. What's one social media platform that every restaurateur, actually, let's say any business, needs to master in 2026? Let's do an audience choice.
I mean, TikTok is where it's at. I still refuse to use it, but it's where it's at.
Yeah, it really is. You know what? People still watch TikTok all day long. They watch these videos. I mean, the stupidest videos have millions of views. So TikTok is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge. I know. Well, before we go, we have to talk about the huge event in April.
Yeah.
There's so much fun stuff going on. And why don't you kind of mention the big event that you're throwing in April? Because I'm excited to attend.
Yes, it's our 2026 premiere and press party week. It's 3 days, 5 events, people flying in from all over, and it's just such a fun experience. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. This year we've partnered with Fubu, and they're doing their launch of one of their new collections here in the States. So it's a big fashion show at our Golden Goddess Glam Gala, which is our opening night party, and that is going to be so fancy. We're doing it at Jay's Steakhouse, which is, like, super chic and
I can't
elegant.
wait to try it. You know, last time I was there, I didn't get a chance. We tried to do it and our schedule just got so busy we didn't make it out. So I'm excited to see just the restaurant. I've heard such great things about it.
Yeah, it's amazing, it really is, so I'm excited about that, and, actually, the chef, one of the owners of that restaurant, he moved up north somewhere and owns a farm now, but he was a big celebrity chef, Ralph, Pagino, so he was on a big TV show, and that's where I met him when he was doing his TV show down here, Brand Star in Pompano, and, he's such a cool guy. He had Naked Taco in Miami Beach too. So yeah, so he's one of the partners, and so that's how we got in with that. And then we have a Think and Grow Rich Diva Network brunch with like a mansion and a yacht and bubbles and DJ, and we have a celebrity caterer, so that's going to be awesome. We have the Fubu Suit Stilettos and Cigars brunch, so that's going to be a nice, elegant boutique cigar event. And then the two last nights we have the premieres, so they'll come watch your show, Michelle.
I know. I can't wait.
Everyone shows. Yes, so fun.
I know. So, we are getting ready to launch DeMeo Dynasty, which we're so excited about. We've been talking about it for so long, creating this show, reality show of our family and our business and everything that we do, and it's officially going to come to fruition this year. And yeah, finally, right, Christine? I mean, we
Yes.
talked about it for 8 years. So,
Yes.
we're excited about that, and that's we're hopefully gonna show the first episode at your premiere. So,
Yeah.
we have friends coming. I already have I know. When I saw gold, I was like, "Okay, my whole wardrobe is silver, and I gotta find something in gold."
Ah!
But that's okay, I'm wearing gold.
Michelle, who makes you wear the most wildest colors?
I know. Hey, I can deal with silver and gold. Thank God you didn't pick like yellow, red, or I'm good with black, golds, and silvers. You know, my
It's
wardrobe is
so
all
funny
black.
though, because every time I have an event or a party, you're like, "Oh my gosh, Christine, I don't have anything in that color." And you always have to go get something in a color you don't normally wear.
Well, that's okay. I'm
I
I'm
love
good
it.
with it, and you know what? I'm even looking forward to warm weather because 'cause we've had the worst weather here, and I just can't wait to get on a plane and go somewhere warm, so I'm super
Yeah.
excited for that. So, before we go, for everybody listening, DMs are open, you know where to reach me, obviously on Instagram. You can feel free to reach out on restaurantdiva.com. You can email, you can call. I've had so many great emails and feedback and so many people emailing in to be guests on the show, so keep them coming. And Christine, before we leave, if anybody wants to find you, where's the best place?
Christine Curran, all over social media. You can go to our event too, events.diningdivas.tv.
Well, there you go. So, for everybody listening, there's another episode. And Christine, thank you so much for joining me for Restaurant Oscars. And this weekend's a big weekend, even though this show's going to air after the Oscars. But you know what? It's one of my favorite times, and I can't wait to see who's going to win all the awards.
Woohoo!
Woohoo.
Thank you for
Well,
having me.
thank you for coming on, and I will see you so soon in Florida. And I'm so excited about your event and the launch of our newest show.
All right, honey. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. And with that, everyone, thank you again for another amazing episode. And we'll be back next week.